lovely people, welcome to Kriday Astral Reflection. Today we are going to continue with the houses series, and we are going to discuss 7th house in a bhav in a birth chart in astrology. And in case you like my video, please like and subscribe my channel. And if you want a personal consultation on your horoscope, please feel free to approach me at my Facebook page or Instagram account or my email account. The links are given below in the description section. Thank you. So let's start with the video. So this is the 7th house. You see the diamond shaped box here? This is the 7th house which we are going to discuss today. 7th house. What does 7th house represent in astrology? The 7th bhav of our birth chart. 7th house, if you see, it's directly opposite to the 1st house, the house of self, the house of me, the house of native in a birth chart. So 7th house basically represents your other half, your directly opposite, your spouse in a birth chart, the other people you're going to meet in this life. 7th house is going to represent that in your birth chart. What sort of people you're going to meet, how's your spouse going to be, what kind of life you're going to have with other people and your spouse, your married life. All these things are represented by the 7th house. So 7th house basically represents your marriage, your spouse, even the physical attributes of your spouse, like whether your spouse is going to be beautiful, fair, or tall or short, and her nature, his nature, the husband or the wife of the native. All these things are represented by the 7th house. This can be seen from the 7th house. Also, 7th house represents business, business partnership, the marketplace, bargaining, because 7th house is all about other people. So whatever negotiations you're going to have in life, whatever bargaining you're going to do, 7th house is like a marketplace where you bargain, where you meet other people, where you interact with other people. So it's all about the other people in your life. 7th house also represents massive fame, because you're going to meet people here. And if you have good planetary positions here, good aspects or conjunctions here, then more or less you are going to get fame in this lifetime. 7th house also represents your sexual organs, health wise, and 7th house also represents your opponent, your competitors in this lifetime. Whoever going to face the competition, the people who are going to oppose you, those are also very well represented by the 7th house. Now let us see what happens when a malefic planet or a benefic planet is sitting in your natal birth chart in the 7th house. To start off with, let's start with the benefics like Jupiter. Ideally, Jupiter should do good because it's a benevolent planet, but actually it doesn't, because Jupiter and Venus both are karkas of 7th house. What do you mean by karkas? Karkas are the planets which the particular house represents, which actually controls or rules that particular house. Jupiter signifies marriage. Jupiter also signifies husband. Venus signifies your wife. Venus signifies marriage. So these two planets, they are the karkas of 7th house. But in astrology, there's something called karka nasho bhava. That means if the karka of that house is sitting in that house, then it will bring you more of pain and troubles rather than bringing you good fortune. So if Jupiter is sitting in your 7th house and it is devoid of any good aspects, like aspects from the moon or aspects from Venus, then chances are there that your married life might not be very good. Also, your relationship with other people might not be very well. You might not have very good experiences with other people, at least in the initial phases of your life, because the karka, if it sits in its own house, somewhat intends to destroy the elements of those houses. But other than this, your spouse or the other people whom you interact with in your lifetime might be very knowledgeable, philosophical, they can be very educated, and they can have big hearts, they can actually be very benevolent in nature. They might imbibe the quality of Jupiter. But then again, all this thing depends upon the dignity of Jupiter in your birth chart. If it is debilitated or exalted, like if it is uchastha or nichastha, whether it's in conjunction with another planet like Saturn, then it's going to be more malefic for you. If it's in conjunction with another benefic planet like Venus, then somehow the results of seventh house might get balanced. So it all depends upon the overall strength and the planet placement of your birth chart. Even the nakshatras also count. Similarly, if Venus is sitting in your birth chart, now irrespective of the dignity of Venus, it is actually implying Karaka Nasho Bhava element in your seventh house. That is, Venus might not do very well in your seventh house. Your spouse or the other people you meet might be very creative or artistic in nature. They might have a taste for lavish lifestyle, or they might be they can be quite stylish, they can be creative, but at the same time, at some point in your life you might face some sort of friction with your spouse. Your marriage might hit a rough road, or relationship with the other people in your life might get ruined. You might not be able to make long lasting relationship because Venus is sitting there, firing up the Karka Nasho Bhava element in your seventh house. Now, what happens when Moon sits in the seventh house of your birth chart? Moon is your mind. So it's very obvious that Moon, because of Moon's placement, your mind will be always attached to your spouse. You will be very caring and nourishing towards your spouse. Even you look forward to helping and taking care of other people you meet in your lifetime. You, to the point that you won't take care of yourself that much as you take care of your spouse and other people. You will invest all your energy and enthusiasm in taking care of other people. And it could also be that you have a business oriented mind. You can very well think of starting business, opening up a business, or you can be a natural businessman. All these things can happen if you have Moon in the seventh. Your mother also, because Moon represents mother, your mother also can be a very good businesswoman, or even if she is not, she can be very good in bargaining, finalizing deals, etc. Now let's see what happens when a planet like Sun, a hot planet like Sun, sits in your seventh house. Sun is a mild malefic planet. So when Sun sits in your seventh house or any house, Sun tends to burn the elements of that house, at least in the initial phase. So when Sun is sitting in the seventh house of your horoscope, what happens is Sun tends to burn the relationship, especially the also not only the Jeev Karkas but Ajeev Karkas. Sun tends to burn them because at least in initial phase, because in the initial life we are quite immature, we are not very practical, so we really don't care about the results, and we tend to destroy the relationships with other people. We take rash decision in our marriage. We really don't care about the results. We take impulsive decision in business, in deals and bargaining. So that usually proves harmful for us. That usually proves harmful for our business, for the deals and our relationship. So what happens here is Sun actually burns your relationship. It might damage your marriage until or unless you have a benefic aspect on your seventh house, benefic aspect to your Sun. Like if Jupiter somewhere from your chart is aspecting the Sun, if Venus is aspecting the Sun, or even if Moon is aspecting the Sun, or if the seventh house Lord is sitting with the Sun, then there's a chance that in spite of all these troubles, in spite of your rash decision making or your impulsiveness or the heated arguments which takes place between you and other people, your marriage gets saved, your relationship with other people gets saved. So but later on, after the age of say 35, when you cool down as a person, when you're matured enough and you're practical enough, because that is the age where we gain wisdom, all of us mostly. So we tend to realize our mistakes, we become more matured, we become wise, and then naturally we say that Sun has cooled down and it no longer damages your seventh house as much as it did earlier in your lifetime, until or unless something major happens and again you burn that seventh house. because we are all humans and we make mistakes. So now let's see what happens when a malefic planet, a cold and slow moving planet like Saturn, it sits in your seventh house. What are the results? Saturn means limitation, restriction, frustration. Saturn means obstruction, delay, and a lot of waiting. So also maturity. So what happens here is that when Saturn is sitting in the seventh house of your birth chart, it is suggested that you should have a late marriage, because if you have an early marriage, then you won't have that patience, that wisdom to sustain the responsibility of a marriage, the gravity of a marriage. So it might happen that even if the Saturn is sitting in your seventh house and you get married early, then you might not be able to take the responsibility of your marriage. You might get involved in petty arguments with your spouse and your marriage might end. So usually it is recommended to people who are having Saturn in 7th in their natal birth chart to have a late marriage, at least after the age of 32, 35. Then only that person has the maturity and wisdom to sustain the marriage. What happens when Saturn sits in 7th? You get a spouse who is maybe very mature than you, or who's very wise and practical in their dealings, and there can be certain age gap also between you and the spouse. It could also be that your marriage will be less of romance and more of practicality, more of wisdom, more of the practical side of life, where you work very hard to save money, build a house, rather than concentrating on romance. So romance factor might not be very much there in your marriage, but otherwise your marriage will be very practical in nature, very wise in nature, and it shows that your marriage will be long lasting, because Saturn is commitment, it's durability. So if nothing else, it actually signifies a very strong and committed relationship with your spouse. Same with other people. If you are interacting with other people, most of the people you get in this lifetime are very matured and practical. They might not be very fun loving, but they will be very committed to you, provided you are mature enough to handle them, you have crossed that age. Now what happens when a malefic planet like Mars is sitting in your 7th house? Mars in 7th actually makes a native Manglik, and people usually tend to get very scared hearing the word Manglik, because Manglik people cannot sustain their first marriage. They eventually end up their marriage, and it's only during the second marriage they retain that stability. Their second marriages are successful. Why is that? Because Mars in 7th makes a native very passionate, very energetic about their spouse, about their marriage. They have very high passion level, and they want similar kind of passion from their spouse. They want similar kind of reciprocation from their spouse in the marriage. And it's very natural when a Manglik doesn't marry a Manglik. That is, if your Manglik marries a non-Manglik, they don't get the similar kind of passion in their marriage, and they become frustrated, they become angry, and actually that is the reason their first marriage ends. And it's also seen that after ending of their first marriage, they tend to learn a lesson that the marriage, the spouse, these things are valuable, and in a rage they had ended their marriage, and that's how they learn their lesson, and they tend to keep their second marriage intact. They are very careful with their second spouse. So that is the story behind being a Manglik. Otherwise, nothing to be scared so much about it. So Mars in 7th actually signifies a very passionate marriage. A person, if Mars is not well placed, it can also mean that the native can be very aggressive in its marriage, or the spouse can be very aggressive. The people he's encountering in this lifetime, they can be very aggressive. There can be frequent arguments in the marriage with other people as well. And if Mars is conjunct with Rahu in 7th house and both are not well placed and there is no aspect from any benefic planet in the birth chart, then it tends to give more bad results, especially in the dasha of Mars and Rahu. There can be frequent arguments, there can be physical bouts also. So many things have to be taken into consideration. The dignity of planets, whether they are Uchasta or Nichasta, that is exalted or debilitated, whether the running dasha is of Mars or Rahu, whether there is any malefic aspect to Mars and Rahu, which is further deteriorating the conditions of 7th house, or there is a benefic planet which is actually saving the 7th house element. Now, what happens when a malefic and blind planet like Ketu is blind because it cannot see. Actually, Ketu represents, blind decision making, total illusion where the person doesn't see and it takes blind decisions, it takes blind actions. We'll discuss all these things when I'm going to discuss planets separately in my upcoming videos. So what happens when a blind planet like Ketu sits in the 7th house? Ketu represents isolation and separation also. So there can be a physical separation from your spouse. You might not be very much inclined towards your spouse in marriage, and it can also mean that you tend to stay aloof, separated from other people. You don't like interacting with other people. So all these things are represented if Ketu is sitting in your 7th house. And what happens when Rahu sits in your 7th house? Rahu is illusion. It is something, it is smoke. It is something which tends to flare up, which explodes, which shows something that it is of something great in nature, but actually Rahu isn't there. It is illusion. So when Rahu is sitting in your 7th house of marriage and other people, business, first of all, it can get you massive fame because 7th house is the house of fame and Rahu is explosion. So you might get massive fame in your lifetime, especially during Rahu Mahadasha or Antardasha, or Rahu transiting your 7th house in the cosmos. Other than this, it can happen that you get obsessed with your spouse the moment you get married, or with other people you meet in the lifetime. The moment you meet the other person or your spouse, you're obsessed with them because Rahu represents obsession. You are very much in love with them, very much in awe with them, and you just don't know what to do with them. You put them up on a pedestal and you enjoy your time with them, you take interest in them, and this things goes on for a certain period of time, until or unless one day you lose your interest in them. Yes, it's all about losing interest in the end because Rahu is illusion. It never lasts. Whatever things Rahu gives you in its dasha, whatever benefits it gives in your dasha, it takes away as soon as the dasha is over. That's the characteristics of Rahu. That's what I have seen. So you lose your interest in your spouse one day, you lose your interest in other people one day. Suddenly one day everything is over, and then what do? Then Rahu makes you look for other people. Like you tend to leave your spouse mentally and you start taking interest in other females, in other men. Also you might lose interest in in the people in your life, and you start looking for fresh people, new people. Suddenly you lose interest in your spouse and other people one day, and then you go around with these people, with this other female or other male for some time, and you enjoy your life. Then at a certain point you lose your interest in them as well too, and then you look for more fresh people and new females or males. So that is the nature of Rahu. It is never satisfied because Rahu is headless. No matter how much it eats, it goes out from its neck. So it's always hungry, always looking for new people, new elements, new fun, new excitement. It always gets bored with the same people after some time. So this is what happens when Rahu sits in your 7th house. You tend to lose interest in your marriage, you tend to lose interest in the people very soon, and you look for newer options. That also is not going to last. when you get satisfied, when your hunger is met with those new people or new options, then you look for another option, then you look for fresh friends, fresh people. So this happens especially when Rahu is debilitated, Nichastha. This also happens when there is no benefic aspect from Jupiter, Venus, or Moon in the birth chart. So everything comes to the whole dignity of your birth chart. Even the aspecting planet should be in good dignity to provide strength to the seventh house planet, so that it can save your marriage and spouse or the other people, relationship with other people. So for a complete analysis, never judge a single alignment. Like seventh house, which is the planet sitting in seventh house, you have to see where the seventh lord is placed, which planet is controlling your seventh house, what is the dignity of the seventh lord. Also, if there is any aspecting planet to your seventh house or seventh lord, and if there is any aspecting benefic planet, what is the strength of that planet, whether it is Uchastha, Nichastha, and if there is any malefic aspect, how is it. So even the nakshatra counts. So while analyzing any result about your birth chart, the whole birth chart has to be seen, considered, and it has to be given some time, given some consideration. Then only the net result is finalized. Then only we can say there is a proper analysis done of the birth chart. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you liked my video. Please like and subscribe my channel, and I'll see you next time with 8th house. So see you again. Thank you. Bye. Take care.